All right. Let's talk about identity. Like identity is like super important in life. Like most people who kill themselves because of loss of identity, right? Um, so what is identity? So instead of talking about identity as a philosophical thing, which can be fun and interesting, I'm just gonna give you my identity, how I see myself, right? And okay, I mean, first of all, like I would totally describe myself as an idiot, right? I mean, this is a beautiful, I think, way to view the world, right? Because like I used to talk with my grandpa, and my grandpa and I used to disagree, but it's like we were friends afterwards. We loved each other. He was my grandpa. I was his grandson, and there was no toxic bullshit involved. Like we talk politics nowadays, and it's like, oh, if you disagree with me, then you're my enemy. Ugh, you're my fucking enemy. Fuck you. Ugh. And it's like, my grandpa and I used to just disagree. I loved him, and it used to be fun, and not only that, it's like I've been wrong so many times in my life, you know. I'm not the truth. I'm not the truth at all. So it's like to kill the ego within, and hopefully I've killed the ego within. I don't know. You'll hear me talk here soon, and maybe you won't think so, but hopefully I've killed the ego within. So like I totally like to view myself as an idiot, you know. Oh my god, why not? It's just so freeing. It's so relaxing. Like the world is not on your shoulders. You shrug and you're just whew, just fucking relaxed, Um, now, now who am I? Like I did a family history of myself one time, and let's start with my father. My father, although he's the one I know least about, but we'll start with my father. My father's grandmother was a full-blooded Apache. She was a full-blooded Apache woman. Now, my father's grandfather, her husband, is more mysterious, and that's where I don't. That's where the family history turns into myth and legend. Because my last name is Baldonado, right? And there's no Baldonados in Spain, but there are Maldonados in Spain with an M, right? And so, like my grandpa said one time, that when people came to the New World, they would change a letter in their last name to signify their new home, their new identity, their new, whatever. And so maybe that's what happened. It was a Maldonado that changed his last name into Baldonado, right? Now, I was sitting around the table with my dad's family one time. My father and his sisters, my aunts, and my grandmother, and we were talking about it all. And there were these theories that now this is my grandma talking, right? My grandma doesn't like my grandfather. My dad's mother did not like her husband, so she's talking shit about the Baldonado side. But anyways, we're sitting around talking about it, and one of the first stories I heard was that the first Baldonado was a man who was playing a poker game. He was playing a poker game, and he didn't have any more money to bet, so he bet his last name, and he's like, okay, if I'll put my last name on the line. If I lose, I'll change my last name, And so he lost, and so his last name changed to Baldonado, right? Anyways, that's a funny one. I heard from a priest that the first Baldonado was a Maldonado, but the identity of a man came from his baptism, not from the government like it does today. And so in the baptismal records, his M's looked like a B. Therefore, they became Baldonados. I doubt this one the least, or I doubt this one the most. I think, yeah. But it's a cute little story, right? But the recent story I heard was that this Apache woman's husband, my dad's grandfather, was actually a Sicilian, and his name wasn't Maldonado or Baldonado at all. He had a Sicilian last name, and he was running from trouble within Sicily, right? Somebody was trying to kill him. So he came to the New World, and he changed his last name to Baldonado in order to hide and not be killed by some Sicilians that wanted to kill him. But regardless to say, my dad's grandmother was dark skinned, right? And she, like my father, had this bronze reddish skin. And my dad today, his skin has gotten more brown and less red, right? So if you see him today, he's going to be a bit more brownish. But he's a dark skinned man, and he used to have this reddish skin color. But he's gotten less sun. I think maybe he moved and he's in the south, so maybe he's getting more sun now. But I don't know. Last time I saw him, he was brown, you know. But here's a story that I heard within my dad's family, and there was this one of my ancestors who was a full-blooded Spanish man, full-blooded white man, right? And he ended up marrying a Native American woman, right? And this Native American woman, she was in this tribe, and they hate all white people. And so so because she married outside the tribe, they erased her from existence. So my grandmother was erased from existence by this tribe because she married a white man. And this white Spanish man, he was going to have he was going to have an inheritance from his father, right? And this inheritance was going to be split between him, his brother, and his sister. So there was going to be a three-way inheritance, and they were each going to inherit a chest filled with gold and silver and gems, right? But because he didn't marry a white woman, he was disinherited, right? So my ancestors, they married for love, right? And boom, like I don't know if this story is true, but that's my identity right there. Like I'm the product. Like again, you go to my mom, and she's a white redhead. So her family is Welsh, and English, and Scottish, and Irish, and German, right? Now her grandfather was a Biederman, so he's going to be a lot more German. Although his mother was American, so he's less German than he thinks. Because he was a proud Biederman man. But like I was thinking about Americans, right? And so it's like you can have an American man or woman with an Irish last name, and yet if you go into their family history, they might have like less Irish than they do English, right? So every St. Patty's Day, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I have an Irish last name. This is my day," you know. Blah, 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 but they might have more English blood in them, which hate the Irish, right? It's also silly because like Americans are so mutts. Anyways, yeah, no, that's how I see America now. It's the melting pot of the world, right? Which is a beautiful thing. Um, I think. I'm biased though because I'm melted. And I didn't know what I was for a long time. I was like American, and I love to be American. Um, but then like I saw some of the things America was doing in the world, and I was so ashamed. Like none of you fucking Muslims ever better blame me for anything America does because I condemn America's actions on this world. It's disgusting what we do around the world. That doesn't represent me. Like, I wish blessings and prosperity and peace upon all. Um, so, like, I look back into my family history, and like, I can choose anything. I could be Irish, I could be German, I could be Mexican, right? Like, I had Mexican relatives living in New Mexico before New Mexico became American. Um, I could choose anything, but I really love this idea of America being the melting pot of the world. It's people loving each other, right? Again, I'm biased. I'm the product of dark dick and white pussy. So no black man can ever look down upon me. Um, But like, what is a name? Like, there's sci-fi out there which says if you capture a man's name, then you capture his identity. Then there's a philosophy out there which says the name is not substance; it's all arbitrary, right? And but like, I think they both agree because if the name is substance, then um, yeah, no, if it is substance, then they both agree. Um, but like the other side would say, oh, it's all just arbitrary. But I don't know. Like sometimes I see people in their names, and they kind of correspond in this weird, odd sort of way. Um, anyways, I'll shut up right now. I'm not say anymore. Um, like my son's name was is Damien, right? And my wife and I were debating names for our kids. The name I wanted was Jerome. Like I wanted Jerome. I fucking love that name, Jerome. My name is Jerome. Um, but my eldest brother, he wanted that for the name of his first son. So it's like, okay, I'll give it to him. He can have that for the name of his first son. Um, but I don't think my wife liked the name of Jerome, and we were just passing by names, just blah, 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 and she would disagree with mine, and I'd disagree with hers, and um, of course she was probably naming some of her ex crushes. But whatever. No, whatever. I'm joking. Um, no, we were watching this show that I used to like called Stargate, and at the end there was this producer. His name was Damien, right? And so we were trying to come up with names. I saw this name Damien. And I was like, oh hey, how about Damien? And my wife was like, oh yeah, no, I like that name. And so this is the first name that we agreed on. And like for me, I took philosophy in college, and I only took philosophy to strengthen my rational side of my brain because I'm more imaginative, so I wasn't good at it. But one thing I did learn was that Damon, like Socrates, that's what his defense was before he got killed. Like his defense was he was listening to the daemon. He was listening to the spirit. And that's what daemon means. It means spirit, right? And so, but like in our day, daemon is a word is a name that some people believe to be cursed, right? They believe that word to be cursed. But I was looking at that word purely. I was looking at it through purity, through the word just spirit. It's a beautiful word, spirit. And then my wife was like, "Oh yeah, no, I like that name, but how about also Victor for his middle name?" And I was like, "Oh, even better, Victorious Spirit. That's a beautiful name. Victorious Spirit. That's my son's name." Um, but I don't know. Sometimes things get weird, huh? I thought, I could break the curse. I'll break the curse. Let's see, what does that say? Columbo. Okay. Anyways, so like there's this Detective Columbo, this TV show, and I identified with this character a lot. Like I fucking love this guy because he dressed like a bum and drove this beat up car and acted like an idiot, and everybody assumed, he's an idiot, and but he detects and detects and detects, and eventually he finds out who the bad guy is, but he's got to get the evidence, right? And so there's this moment in every single Columbo show where he's asking the killer question, the murderer questions, right? Or the killer, one of the two. But he's asking the killer questions, and no, stop. Okay, shut up. No, and the killer, right? He's like, "OMG, holy shit! Columbo knows that I killed this person." And he looks at Columbo with this realization that, oh my god, this is not an idiot. And Columbo's looking at him like a badass, like a boss. Like I know. And then the killer sees this face of Columbo, and now the killer knows that he knows. And Columbo knows that he knows that he knows. Right? So it's just this badass moment. And I would see this, and I would, I think I would yearn for this type of relationship with other people. This type of relationship that doesn't need words. That's just, it's just this, this, I see you, namaste, right? I see you. Although I've heard namaste, like I looked it up recently and it says peace be with you, but I don't know. I always heard namaste means I see you. But that's how this Columbo moment was, and I was just like, I want that, and this was something that I never had with my wife, It's like she was attracted to me on some level, but because I persisted, I'm stubborn, and I persisted in this identity of I don't care what you think about my outward appearance, it's about the heart, right? And but another thing is you could go to one of my favorite movies was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof with fucking what's his name, and what's her name, Elizabeth Taylor, and Paul fucking two. Hey Teresa, do you know Fucking A, what's that black and white actor's name? He was on Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I don't know if you know that movie. Paul
Newman?
Newman. Yeah, Paul Newman. That's his name. Okay, so yeah, Paul Newman was in it, and then there was this really badass, like the Big Daddy was just great actor, and he's also a great singer too. You might know some of his Christmas songs, actually, but it's a great movie, and there's this one scene in it where Big Daddy he's down in the basement with his favorite son, right? Because we all have our favorite children. Paul Newman's his favorite child, even though you have this other child who's like doing everything for the daddy, for Big Daddy. Um, but he really wants Paul Newman to love him, and so he's just like, yelling at him and trying to make Paul Newman, his son, love him, and he's like, I gave you everything, and they're in the basement and they're surrounded by all this hoarding stuff, right? All this hoarding stuff everywhere. And so he's like, I gave you everything. I gave you everything. And Paul Newman's like, he grabs like a golf stick or something and he starts swinging everywhere and he's like, things, things, This is a great moment, I think. But that's how I've always felt, it's like so many people I think nowadays identify with materialism, and I don't in the least. Like, I work 2 days a week in truck, a food truck, and that's enough for me right now. Like, I need to catch up because I had some savings, and then now I'm fucking out of money. But I think I'm gonna be able to pay my rent next month, and I'm gonna need to catch up. Meaning I need to stop drinking as much, but my body's rejecting it anyways. Anyways, I mean, it's like I don't identify myself um, in material terms, and I never have. And I thought it was always stupid. Like, to me, this moment where he's like, things, things, and he's smashing everything. I was like, oh my god, that's just such a beautiful moment. Um, and yeah, no, I just don't, and it's like everybody else, like the modern psychologists will tell you that there's this psychological aberration that blames everybody else. Like, oh, it's everybody else, it's not me. It's everybody else, not me. And and I agree with them. I think there is this psychological aberration where people are like, oh, it's everybody else and not me, not me. But like sometimes it is everybody else and not you. Like, especially if it's a genocidal mob. If you're talking about genocidal mob, then it is everybody else and not you. Sometimes it is everybody else, not you. And to me, I stand tall with the writer of the Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and I stand against all the rest of you materialistic motherfuckers out there. Like, so what? You got a Bugatti? That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, if you actually built it, then I'd be impressed. But if you just bought it, then I can give a shit. Like, I can give a shit if you can get all the pussy in the world. It doesn't mean anything to me. You're nothing to me. Things, things, things. And I don't know. A few years back, I started writing stories, and before this, my main goal in life was to be like Solomon. I wanted to be wise. That was my main goal. And to be wise is just to sit back and think, right? To do nothing. To stay there, right? And do nothing. Not move, right? But in English American society, if you're not busy, then you're a bum, right? So to think is bad in American and English society, right? Unless you're the leaders, then you're allowed to think. But um, damn, man. Like, I wanted to write stories when I was a teenager, and I tried to, and I was a good writer, I think. But I failed when I was a teenager, and then I started writing stories a few years back, and I was just like, hell yeah, and it was just so valuable for me. For like, I had confidence before I started writing stories, but I started writing stories, and I'm like, boom, my confidence just went through the roof. And it doesn't matter if anybody ever sees any of my stories. Just the act of creation itself is just so valuable and just so precious. I don't need anybody, though I want others. What's that saying? Fuck. Oh, man, many names. Okay. Yeah, no, I was living with Teresa, my friend Teresa, and I was just, I was just mooching off of her. I didn't have a job. She was paying for everything for me. I was living on the streets, and she was I had gotten tired on the streets, and I needed some rest, and so she let me stay in her place, and she went away to work, and I'd been like, when I was on the streets I was writing stories, but when I was with her I was just more like philosophizing and meditating and all that stuff. And I had been doing all this philosophizing, meditating in her place, just being a total bum. And I sat down one day and I was tired. I was like, fuck this, all this philosophizing shit. I'm just tired, and I just want to write for the fun of it. I don't want to. I don't want to try to discover anything or just be wise or do any of that shit. I'm tired. I just want to have fun with writing. Sometimes I just love to have fun with writing. It's like awesome to have fun with writing sometimes. So Teresa went away to work, and I was smoking her pot, smoking her tobacco, and I was drinking coffee, and I was listening to probably Two Steps from Hell or something. And I just sat down to write for the fun of it, right? And I did this thing where I declared myself to be the Lord of Should, right? I am the Lord of Should, right? And it was just, I just had so much fun writing this. It was just like I started it out with, you should never should another man, right? And I just love the contradiction of it all. But it's true. It's like, you should never should another man. It's disrespectful, right? And that was my argument, right? But I was contradictory, right? And it was just a fun little writing. And afterwards, I think I heated something up in the microwave and sat down and ate it while I was doom scrolling or something. But I was the Lord of Should for like fucking 2 hours in my life. Like right now, when I was a teenager, I wanted to write stories, like I said, and I used to love the pen name, right? And um, I wanted a pen name. I just did. Oh, fucking so I wanted a pen name, and so when I started writing stories, I chose the name Enrique Zoltano, and the name Enrique Zoltano comes from I was journaling, right? I was just journal writing, and journal writing is just private, fun thoughts, right? And but I was having private, fun thoughts about a year before all this happened, and I just like I was writing, and I was writing this intense writing, and I declared myself to be Enrique Zoltano, right? And it was just like whatever, and about a year later, maybe a year later or so, I was on the streets. I was writing stories, and I was like, "Oh, I need a pen name." And I remembered this name Enrique Zoltano that I had written. I completely, totally forgot exactly why I had written the name Enrique Zoltano, but yeah, no, it's like I wanted a pen name, and not only that, it's like I was living on the streets at the time, and like all these people on the streets, they had street names, right? And so like when I told people my name Enrique Zolano, they probably didn't think it was my street name. They probably thought it was my birth name, Gabriel Max Baldonado. But no, the Enrique Zoltano was my pen name, right? But it also became my street name. But for me, it's like I had transformed. You know, I had completely transformed, and Gabriel Max Baldonado was dead, and he had died a long, long, long time ago. And I was now Enrique Zoltano, and that's how I identify myself nowadays. Though the government will still identify me as Gabriel Max Baldonado. Um, but yeah, I mean, but I mean, I think that's, and I mean, maybe I'm a narcissist. I don't know, but please tell me if I am. Um, but I mean, for me, it's just it's just freeing, this idea of transformation. I am not this static figure. Um, I am change, and I hopefully will continue to change for the better and for the positive. Um, yeah, no, I think that's it.